welcome back to the Birds of Berea. I am Rick Welch. And guys, if you were at the Berean conference, then you probably met these two. And if you didn't, you really missed out because they had this cute little baby. And if you're ever going to get to see this baby, you got to see him in person because they do not show this face online. This is Cameron and Jailyn Driver. Hey guys.
Hey.
Thank you guys so much for being on the Burrows with me, man. It's so much fun. You guys are so much fun. And guys, one of the things you're going to find out about Cameron Driver the second. Now, Tony Driver is his mother. She's the one that does all the music. And then, of course, Cameron is his father, who supports her and is a great man. But Cameron is on fire for the Lord. And that's what I got excited about. You know, it just, we need an on fire preacher out there. And so I was super excited. Um, and Jailyn, you were so nice at the conference. And you said that at the very end to me. That really meant a lot to me. Thank you for being so kind.
Yes, I really appreciated that message. It was one of my favorites that we heard.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's one on my heart. Widows, orphans, and strangers is something that the Bible is over and over about how much God thinks about them and cares for them. And I always tell everybody, we look at God as all powerful and all loving and omniscient and omnipresent and sovereign. Yet we still have widows, orphans, and strangers. It's a part of this. It's part of life. It's a part of the way life works. And God cares for widows, orphans, and strangers. And he still does.
Yeah.
Yes, on that topic.
Yes, for sure. No, I think that's the church has got to learn how to love first again.
Yes, I agree. We definitely do. Well, I'll ask you both. You guys can, whoever wants to start. But I always ask my guests the same question. To the best of your ability, can you tell me the earliest memory of when you heard the name Jesus Christ?
You want to go first?
Yeah. So I guess I'll give a story for context too, but I can remember being as early as 2 years old, and my mom would sit me down in front of the family computer because this was 2006, so computers weren't like they were today. And I would have my headphones on, and I would just listen to the Gospels as it would read the highlighted words bit by bit. And I was going to a Lutheran preschool at this time just because that was the closest thing that was, Christian in our area, so it worked out. And the pastor was giving us a lesson on Easter, and he didn't include the crucifixion and the beating of Christ in his story. So I actually raised my hand and told all the other 3-year-olds about those important details, like the description of the whip and stuff, just because I had read the Gospels.
Wow. And so not only did you hear the name earlier, but you got it right. You also got the story right.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
I've been blessed.
Funny enough, Tony actually told me that story. She told me she actually did, which is not in her interview, but she on the side, she told me that story. How about you, Jailyn?
So I grew up very differently than Cameron did. To be real with you, I would describe my family as very lukewarm in terms of their faith. Like my mama had faith that could move a mountain in God and in all of us. And that was definitely a seed that she planted in early on, but I began to kind of waver through life. And it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I really became firm in that faith.
Wow. So for both of you, most people, they tell a story like for me, like I had a radical conversion, right? That was it started at the age of 10. And for me, whenever I heard the name Jesus, I heard it, my grandmother, said it. And again, I was like 10 years old and I grew up in an atheist home. And so when my grandmother told me this and took me to church, once I heard the gospel, like the way that Jesus describes it, like in the Gospel of John, they hear my voice and they follow me, right? Like I was like on, and it never left. I mean, I'm still with him to this day, since I was 10. Do either one of you or both of you have a time when you had that moment in your life?
For sure.
Yeah, I would say I probably have 2 moments like that.
Okay.
If I were to be honest. And that's actually when I decided I wanted to be saved, and got my salvation. I was 5 years old, and I remember a book had fallen off of the bookshelf in our house, and it was actually one of my mom's devotional books, and I had just
Mm.
read through the whole thing. And then when she got home, I had asked her some questions, and then this like baffled her, but I just understood at that time. I went to my own room and prayed privately, my prayer of salvation.
Mm.
And I came back, and my mom was kind of baffled that that happened. And I
Yeah.
kind of did that on my own, but I understood and I wanted that relationship with God. And then I would say later on, like as I grew and I wanted to have a thirst for knowledge, there were just so many questions that weren't being answered for me until I came around and I found full preterism. And
Mm.
that kind of checked a lot of boxes in terms of how I looked at God and his relationship with us as human beings.
Mm. Yeah, it does feel like another being born again moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. So Jaylyn, how about yours? So you said for sure, so I'm very curious.
Okay, so there's a lot of like background context about me, and I'm gonna try to keep it short because it's a lot. But I ended up going into foster care when
Hmm.
I was 16, and I grew up in a home with a lot of drug addiction, a lot of domestic violence, just a lot of chaos.
Hmm.
And obviously, like when you're young and developing, and you're seeing like all different kinds of evil, and you feel very hopeless and alone, you don't think that God is listening to you and God cares, and you wonder like, why would God let such evil roam and let these bad things happen? And so that's where full preterism answered a lot of those questions for me. It
Hmm.
wasn't God that just allows those things, it's just the depravity of man.
Hmm.
But back to the big story. So my big moment was so after I left home, um everybody that lived with my grandmother had pretty much either left or passed away. My grandfather passed away, and my grandmother lived with a family member of mine who, before I became a full preterist, I would have told you they were demon possessed,
Oh yeah.
but they had a lot of issues, and my grandmother got attacked really badly one time, and I to be real with you, I was very wrathful. I wanted revenge. I was gonna hurt them or myself. I was like really just not in a good space. And I was driving in my car to go to work. I had a little job at this restaurant, and I'd stopped at QT to get a coffee.
Hmm.
And I was crying in my car, and I was just really crying out to whatever would listen to me. And so after I get done, I didn't realize I was praying, but I was praying.
Hmm.
And give me just one moment. I'm sorry.
You go right
I
ahead.
gotta grab something. I should have grabbed this beforehand.
It's all good. You're like Elaine Clark. We do this all the time when it's me and Elaine. We get up and just walk away and grab stuff. We do it all the time.
Oh no, it's right here. I got scared. But I walked into QT after saying all this, and this was waiting for me
All right.
on
Call
the,
his name, Jesus.
and that was sitting there waiting on me, and I took that as a sign because I was calling out to somebody, but I wouldn't say his name.
Hmm.
And I gave my life to God there in that QT.
Yeah.
Just me and him.
Wow.
And obviously, I wasn't where I'm at now in my faith. I was more of like my own form of like pseudo Christianity, agnostic in a way. Like I knew
Hmm.
Jesus, I knew God just from that experience. And but I didn't know the Bible, and I didn't go to church, and I didn't believe in the Bible because I knew it had been manipulated somehow by man. I didn't know how, and to be real with you, I just didn't take the time to figure out how.
Hmm.
And then I got with Cameron, and Cameron started informing me a little bit, and he had told me about his church, and that's when I realized that the Bible wasn't manipulated. It was the doctrines that man used the Bible to teach, like use the Bible for.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's how my walk with God has happened. And
So let me get this right. So you got a mocha frappuccino and some Jesus at the
yep,
same time. Is that right?
yep, it was great.
You
Yeah.
got the QT to heaven. So
Yep,
that
Yeah.
yep.
no, that's precious. It really is because God meets you where you are. And you just
Hmm.
you remember that space. A lot of times I've heard a lot of testimonies where people can put you at the in the space and time when they cried out to God or whenever they heard him call them. And so, yeah, and you're right. I mean, that's, the way that Cameron was describing being able to go in his room and just have that moment, and
Mm-hmm.
you going to a QT and have that, like, that's what it really boils down to. I've learned, guys, I've done so many testimony episodes and they all are
Mm-hmm.
so alike.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
Oh
all
yeah.
reach out to him or we hear him and we cling, and that
Mm-hmm.
happens and we
Mm-hmm.
remember it. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm very curious. So you met Cameron, and Cameron, you met her, and you started getting her some education on what all this means, right?
Yeah, I would say I certainly I like to have my opinions and I like to discuss them. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
would just pretty early in our relationship, we would just have lengthy discussions, hour-long discussions about multiple topics, religion being one of the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Wow. Yeah, so you had, I think your Tony told me once, I think she said that you had introduced full preterism to them. Is that accurate?
Um, it's
Or that you
we
had,
could use some context to it.
okay.
I definitely informed them of alternative views, and
Hmm.
I pushed really hard for them to read the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilee,
Hmm.
to get some of the context from that. But I had been really familiar with multiple of the eschatology viewpoints,
Hmm.
until Alan, our pastor, started preaching at church is when I finally looked into full preterism, just because it gets labeled heresy and they do so much to delegitimize it. I had never looked into it, but once I saw him and he gave his approval, I was like, okay, let me check it out, and I really liked it. So
Yeah. Well, for us, like around here, I mean, it's a big no-no, and I'm sure it is down there too, because you're only an hour and a half away from me, or 2.5 hours away from me.
yeah,
But, whenever you whenever you first see it, I know, like for me, the time statements were huge. It was a big deal to me,
yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
especially because I grew up dispensational. And so I had almost got to the point where I wasn't giving up on God. I was just giving up on church. I was like, I'm so tired of just going into these churches and them not being able to put this together in a meaningful way. Everything sounds like it's just a farce.
Yeah,
And
Mm-hmm.
for
it's,
sure.
and every service was about getting ready for the rapture and getting ready to be taken out of here and getting, avoiding the coming Armageddon. And I
Yeah,
used to think to myself, like, I would be like, are you guys even listening to yourselves? Like,
for
so
sure.
yeah. So when somebody handed me those time statements for the first time, and I'll never forget it. Jeff McCormick. Did you guys meet Jeff down at Berean? He was the one
Oh,
that spoke on grief.
Yes,
yes, we
yes,
did
we did.
actually.
Yes, the
Yeah.
blue collar pastor, right? That's what
No,
his name
that's
is.
No, that
that's
was
Bob
Bob.
Cruikshank.
No, that's
No,
Bob.
he was when we went to the restaurant. He was
Oh,
there.
he was at
Yes,
the
yes,
restaurant.
he was
Yeah,
there.
sorry. So many names, so many
I know that
faces.
you guys had to
Right,
meet a
yes, we
lot of
did. We
people at
ate
once.
Mexican food with him.
Mhm.
Yes,
Right.
We
yes.
accidentally ran into them.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Jeff was responsible for blowing my mind, is what he was, for looking at apocalyptic language in the Old Testament. And I thought to myself, how is it I've never heard of this? So was it like, well, let me ask you, Jaylyn, because Cameron seems to like to fish to water.
Mhm.
When he first introduced it to you, did your eye just like open right up, or were you?
Honestly, yeah.
What just happened?
Oh,
There we go. Sorry about that. We had
No,
technical difficulties.
no worries.
okay. Honestly, yeah. I think that since I wasn't a dispensationalist beforehand, like it was just an easy transition because I had so many questions. Like I didn't believe that a rapture was going to happen. I didn't believe in any of that. There was just a lot that was just
Yeah.
yeah, that just made a lot of sense. Like Satan's not wandering around just messing
Hmm.
with everybody. Like that is just the wickedness of man. We are
Hmm.
evil and sinful. And that's why bad things like that happen. And God doesn't want to see those bad things happen. He's not punishing you and playing like the cat and mouse game with Satan, letting him
Hmm.
manipulate you. Um,
Right.
which I think that was one of the biggest things that hindered my faith
Hmm.
and maybe like it to be real, I thought God was evil. I was like, if this is what this is, then he has to be an evil God. And I can't believe in an evil God. And at the time in my life where I found God, I wanted justice. I wanted truth. I yearned for all of the things that Jesus is.
Yeah.
And there was just so much beauty in that when I found out. Like I was talking to Cameron about it one day. And I think that we all can, if we ever feel alone, we can see ourselves in Jesus. Like there is not anything that he on earth did not experience that we will experience or encounter in our lives. I was like, at that point in my life, I felt like everybody had turned against me. Like I had lost all my family for the most part. And I just felt so lonely and so hopeless. And, I think about like how Jesus felt, for the people that he loved, people that he yearned to save, and they're all turning against him and they hate him for the truth that he speaks,
Yeah, they
and I
kill
feel
him.
like, yeah, they killed him. And I felt like I saw myself in that. And that's why it was just such an easy switch for me.
Yeah. And so you guys, this is amazing, just so you guys know, because am I allowed to ask how old you are, Cameron? I'll never ask a woman how old she is.
No, you're fine. I am 21.
21 years old, and on fire for God and loves his word. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Trying our best.
Now, but for you guys to be the age you are and parents, right?
Yeah.
This is because I'm very curious, like what's going to happen with my children, because my children were raised dispensational because that's all I knew. And two of them went full on agnostic.
Okay.
One of them still is. And my son just recently became a believer. And this was back in October.
Okay.
And he is now talking with me about eschatology. And it really, I guess it came from the podcast is why. But
Okay.
to be that age, the age that you guys are and raising children, like I'm assuming you're going to raise them up knowing that the parousia of Christ took place in
For
87,
sure. Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And that
Probably
like,
a lot of non-mainstream views. Like I would say I definitely believe in like the divine council and some viewpoints on stuff like that as well.
mhm,
So I think just giving our children the ammunition to understand what we say, but what everybody else says too, and letting them have their own opinion.
mhm. Yeah, that's good. Well, he certainly has his own opinion. He made it known down there
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. He loves to talk.
I just know I say it all the time. I am an old school Baptist at heart, like I am. Like the louder the kids, the better for me. Like that's the future to me. I'm like, bring it on, with those kids.
Yeah,
Some
no,
people
it's
don't like it,
true.
but I love it. I think it's great. And we always tell them, they're just praising the Lord. They don't know no better, you
That's
know.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So so tell me something, Cameron. What where are you where do you think you're heading? Like you've sent me some things privately, like on Facebook Messenger, some
Yeah.
studies that you're doing. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, this is fun. Like, I'm super excited. So, like, what are you after? Are you thinking about maybe podcasting? Or are you thinking about getting into some preaching? Or what do you think?
So I actually I just uploaded about a 10-minute long video going over my pretty much gleanings of Jonah in preparation for my sermon at the end of the month. So I want to go into a pastoral role
Hey, hold on. Sermon at the end of the month. Where?
at our church. And
Really? Have you got a date? Have you got a date?
It's the 31st. It's actually our wedding anniversary.
No way.
Yes, our first year wedding anniversary is so special. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
And
cool.
good news with that is we will be launching a Sunday night service that I'll be leading, and I'm going to call it Ancient Made Simple, where we go through the Old Testament, talk about the time period, the literacy, the construction of the text. Is it poetry? What's the meaning? Stuff like that.
What? Now listen, I'm coming. So I'm coming on the 31st. I will be there. And I'm babysitting. I'm babysitting my niece, Charlotte. And she's coming. So she's just gonna have to meet C3 down there. But
Okay.
Feel like a friend in the church.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will be there. I will be there for that. And you guys are gonna start doing a Sunday night thing. So are you gonna try to video these things?
That is my goal. So my goal is to, if not videotape them directly, do
Uh-huh.
a more longer format of the video I did today, which I post on Facebook. I'm trying to get the like YouTube and Patreon stuff figured out.
Mm-hmm.
But I, at least if I don't record it, put out a corresponding video the next Monday, just
Yeah.
as like an online version of my teaching.
I think I'm going to donate. I need to talk to Alan. I'm going to donate a camera and a tripod to where you got all you have to do is just hit the button and then after that you can upload it so that you got because I've had people asking about Alan and now if you're going to be doing stuff at night like this we need to get this stuff out like it needs to be out there.
Yeah, we're hoping if we start a night service, we can get some of the younger generation that don't like to get up as early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Coming
Beautiful.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about
Um,
you, Jailyn? You going to be teaching some?
I would really like to write a book.
Really?
Yes, that's something I was actually talking to Cameron about at the conference. Because it's been on my heart for a minute, and I've always said, throughout my life, like I'm gonna write a book, I'm gonna do something. But I never knew what I would write my book on.
Mm-hmm.
And because I have so much that I want to talk about. And but I also don't like just talking about myself. And so I had really been putting a lot of thought into it and praying about it. And I want my book to be about God, but I
Yeah.
want it to be about all of the deep, dark times where I didn't think that God was there and how it all played out into my life. Like,
Mm.
let me tell you a quick story about when I got
You
pregnant
don't
with
have
my
to be
grandmother.
quick. We've got plenty of time. You just hammer down.
So, me and Cameron had not been together long when we
Mhm.
got pregnant with our son. And we weren't married. I was still in college. I was at Johnson and Wales, studying baking and pastry arts, and I hated it. I was so miserable there. And I'm a very stubborn person, so I didn't want to admit that I was wrong in the major I chose and, like whatever. And I had been praying really, really hard about it. And I was like, I need to know which way I need to go. And that next month I found out I was pregnant.
Mm.
And so I was like, okay. So I left Johnson and Wales and I couldn't see the bigger picture. Like it was a really rough transitional point in my life. And God provided every step of the way. Um,
Mhm.
and I look at where we were a year ago and I look at where we are now, and it was not our doing.
yeah.
And then so another thing too, I lost my grandmother when I was 2 weeks postpartum.
Mm.
And that was rough for me.
Yeah.
And because my mama was like my mama. And I think God gave me my son at the time that he gave me because he knew my grandmother was about to go. And I
Mm.
needed a reason to be strong outside of myself.
Mm.
And I think that's the biggest part. Like I live in my testimony daily. Like I find God in every little thing. I'm looking for him. And
Mhm.
so like I found it very like I just find things like that poetic in my life that have happened.
Yeah.
And I just try to look for him in all of those things.
So and that's what when you talk about writing, that's something you'd like to do is talk about that aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that would say similar things, like the trajectory of my life was going this way, and then this happened, and
Mm-hmm.
then it looked like the world was coming to an end, and then you turn
Mm-hmm.
around and it was the greatest blessing and where God was changing your direction. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I mean, it's wild. It's wild how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna write a book. Cameron's gonna do some preaching and some video. And have you guys thought about doing some podcasting?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I want to at least start if I don't do just the videos of my sermons, do full in-depth analysis of books, and
Mhm.
just start a podcast. I would, I sent you some of the stuff, if you don't mind, about the Jonah stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at, is just each Sunday, I'm gonna go through aspects of the final picture I sent you, breaking it all. That's a lot in that photo. You know what I mean?
Yes,
If I were to make a video about that photo, it would be 5 hours long. So
yes,
just
it's going to
breaking
take a
that
hot
up,
minute.
yeah, breaking that up over the course of a week, a video every week, and just making it digestible.
Yeah. So you're gonna is that what you're gonna be preaching on the 31st? Is in Jonah, or you got something else going on? You don't have to tell me the
Um,
whole thing. I'm just curious if that's what you're gonna start on.
yeah, for sure. I'm a preach about Jonah and I have the slides made, and you're welcome to go. I think my mom reposted it, but I put just a gleanings of what I'm going to preach up that kind of goes over everything. It's a lot, but just prophetic timelines in terms of like 40 days and 40 years and the symbolism of a generation, how Jonah represents Israel in Christ's day, and why he specifically only compares himself to Jonah the prophet when he talks about being the son of Jonah,
Hmm.
and just really diving deep into the text and what that means.
Hmm.
A big one as soon as I started this was coming in, understanding who Jeroboam the second was
Hmm.
and why Jonah was a prophet under him, and the fact that the minor prophets in the Tanakh, or the Jewish Old Testament, would be one book called the 12.
Hmm.
And Jonah is actually written in series with three books, and being the last book in that series, where it totally goes off script and Jonah gets sent to the Gentiles.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of context. Once you build all that up, it perfectly mirrors Christ's life and how he came to save the world. And Israel rejected that, so they had the same wrath they wanted poured out on the world, poured out on them.
I saw whenever you sent me that picture and I saw the Book of the 12, I was like, uh-oh, somebody knows something. That's killer. That's really good. Yeah, that's good. So you're really putting in some effort. You want to make sure you don't want to steer anybody wrong. I totally
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And you want to try to attract a younger crowd, which I think is good. I think that your generation, like I'm not reaching your generation. I'm just not. I'm talking to people my age or older. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about you guys and what you can do, for your generation. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I think just so many people, and especially in our generation, has been hurt by like the evangelical church body or any major church body, that they have such a discontent that anything related to the modern church, they're just turned off from. And I think
Hmm.
that's something that we really have to repair. And, kind of like the sermon you gave at the conference, like we really have to be accountable to being Christ-like and helping people.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, there definitely is. And I found that a lot of the sermons that I grew up listening to, and I got a funny story about Jonah because it's the first time I ever preached and it was in Jonah. We have
Okay.
this in common, but it's very funny. It's not going to be as good as yours, I promise.
Oh,
Watch.
you don't have to say that, but
No,
I
you'll
hope
you'll
mine
see
is
why
good.
when I finish telling you the story. So, but I feel like a lot of the sermons that I heard growing up, they were, it's kind of like the 3 points, in a poem. It's
Yeah.
like the idea. And a lot of the sermons that I heard it was almost like it didn't even follow what the text was. It was like they would use a verse and then go on a tangent. They wouldn't keep it
Yeah.
within its context. That's what I appreciated about Berean Bible Church, was because it was the first one I ever saw like serious expository preaching verse by verse.
Yeah.
And that's on me because I hadn't been exposed to a lot of it. But where I grew up here in Western North Carolina, we have a lot of churches, and there's this thing that they say being called to preach. Have you ever heard that before?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I grew up Southern Baptist, so
So
I'm
you know what
very
it means when
familiar.
people talk about being called to preach. Well, I never had that calling. I never had that ever. But I was called to preach. And I know it sounds weird to say it that way, but I was going to a church called Christ Community Baptist Church, and the pastor of that church, his wife was pregnant, and she went into labor early Sunday morning. And so on my little Nokia phone, it rang, and the preacher called and said, "Hey, I need you to go to the church and preach today." And I was like, "What? Like, I'm not a preacher." And he's like, "I need you to open the church. I need you to run the music ministry. I need you to preach a sermon. And then I need you to close the church because we're going to have a baby."
Yeah. No pressure.
So I was like, cool. So I was thinking, like, what do I want to do? Well, we had been talking about my son's name is Jonas. Okay.
Okay.
And I'd thought of it because I read Jonas, Jonas, in the New Testament in the King James Version, speaking of Jonah, but
Okay.
Jonas is how it's spelled, and I just liked it. And I was like, that's what I'm going to name my son because my wife was pregnant at the same time. And so I I literally went to church. I did the music. I opened up Jonah and I read all four chapters. And
Yep.
then I closed it and said, let's go home. I didn't say a word. I didn't even know what to do. I didn't
Yeah.
know what, you know? I
Yeah.
was called to preach, and that's as good as it got.
Literally, physically called to preach.
Yeah.
Literally on a
Yeah.
Nokia phone.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's great.
you at your age, by the way, I was 23, 24. I didn't have a clue. And so you're 21 and the stuff that you're bringing, it's the next level. I can't wait to hear it. I'm very excited about it. And I do hope that you put this stuff out online, but that way people like me who are way up here can actually see it.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna try to get everything online. I just, I'm trying to be very critical of my own work so
Mhm.
that it can hold up to scrutiny. So I'm just
Yes.
trying to make sure everything is coherent. That's all.
Well, that's awesome because I don't do that. I don't. Like podcasting is a little weird for me. Like I built this intro for the Birds of Berea where we talk about opinion and speculation, and we appreciate those that want to come and bring their opinion and speculate with us because sometimes you have to get down to the kernel of truth, and speculation has to give way to God's truth. It does. But
Yeah.
I've learned more by being open-minded and speculating sometimes, and that's fun. But for you, like in that style where you're going to be like in front of other people at a church in a church setting where people are coming to learn, 100%. That's where you really need to be, in my opinion, you need to be on for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But when you're at home and you're doing your podcast thing, just throw it out there and be like, I've been thinking, man, and this is where I'm at, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you listen to your mom's music?
Me personally,
I put
I,
him on
I
the spot, Tony. What
Hey,
do you
my
think of
my
that?
mom knows, but I will say this, and my wife will attest to this. It is seldom that I listen to music ever. I
Right,
am most likely listening to some kind of biblical analysis
Mhm.
or breakdown or like a debate on a position, just so
right,
I can broaden my scope of information on topics.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely listen to Tony's music, and I asked her to write me a song the other day,
Okay.
and she's written me like she's written, I think there's like 30 songs in our Job study alone that she's written.
Okay. Yeah, no, no, she definitely shares with us. I'll watch the one she shares with me when she makes one for me.
Yes. Well, I asked her, I was like, I wrote this thing for Mother's Day. I don't know if you saw it, but it was about the widow of Nain
Yeah.
and how that was the best Mother's Day gift ever because this widow, and it was her only son. He was a young man. He was dead, and Christ brings him back to life.
Yeah.
They meet at the gate of the city, and Jesus literally stops the funeral procession, which is
Yeah.
so cool. And I sent a message to Tony, and I was like, "Do you think you could write this in like a poppy hip hop with like Billie Eilish kind of idea?" And she totally
Okay.
did it. It was killer. It was so good. I was like, "Wow." Yeah, she's
No,
great.
no, no, they are good. It's come a long way. Like, especially if you look at her original stuff, you can see where she's really picked up and kind of understood how to work it and make them so coherent.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got yeah, it's not just so easy as just typing a little couple of prompts, guys. She puts a lot of thought
Yeah.
into this. And what I love about it is that her doctrine is dead on. Like she makes sure that it's right and it's not just kicking anything out. And it's from our
Mhm.
perspective.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, very good. So, Jaylyn,
Yeah.
now now looking back on your
Mhm.
life, you said that you lost your mama or your mama. How do you say it? Mama?
Mama.
Yeah, I have a mama.
Oh yeah, there's different variations.
Yeah. But this was recent, within the last year and a half, couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 months ago, right? Actually,
Oh.
right after we had our son.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's pretty new. Um, and did she know, like, did you ever talk to her about like where you were eschatologically or anything?
No, and me and Cameron actually were talking about this the other day. I really wish I had.
Yeah.
Because I think that it could have gave my mama a lot of freedom in a
Hmm.
lot of ways. Like, devil didn't have your family, mama.
Yeah.
And Jesus has already handled it all. Because like in my mama's heart, she knew that. And I think that could have made her a lot bolder in her faith later on in life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's there's in 2025, I lost 12 family members to
Oh
death.
God.
Wow.
And they ranged from, in the 70s, all the way down to my niece who was 17,
Hmm.
died in a car wreck.
Hmm.
And her father said he preached his daughter's funeral,
Hmm.
Oh
which
wow.
is,
That's a rough one.
but he wasn't letting anybody else.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
and he said something that has stuck with me.
Hmm.
He said, heaven has just gotten a lot sweeter. And I I never really thought of it like that. I don't
Hmm.
know
Yeah.
why I never thought of it that way.
Hmm.
But now it's like all of these people that I miss them terribly,
Hmm.
terribly. But heaven is a lot sweeter because
Yeah.
I know they, especially my niece Brianna, like she loved Jesus, man, like hardcore
Hmm.
as a teenage kid. Oh, and by the way, she preached her own funeral. We actually played a recording of her devotion that she did with other young women.
Oh
Oh
wow,
wow.
that's beautiful.
And then she sang at their church, and so she sang at her own funeral. She was a powerhouse
Oh
at
wow.
17.
Stop, that's gonna make me cry.
But, but like, I don't know why I never thought of that, but I just wanted to tell you, Jailyn, that
Hmm.
heaven is sweeter.
Hmm.
And whatever it is that you wanted to share, she knows. Like she
Hmm.
knows now.
Mm.
Oh yeah, she knows it all. There was no, I think I said that too, and I was like, well, if she didn't know, she knows now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's almost like you feel envious of that. Like I don't want to just
Mhm.
go die, but there's coming a time,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this is all temporary. And I think that my mama's death, I was literally just talking to my sister about this before we got on the phone. Um, God doesn't always sometimes answer prayers the way that we want him to. I would ask God. My mama was very sick my whole entire life with
Mm.
COPD. And when I was first born, she was told that she was going to have about 5 years to live. And it was going to feel like she was being strangled to death when she died. And
Wow.
I can attest that my mama lived a whole 19 years and she died peacefully. And
Yeah.
and I used to pray to God to take my mama's pain away from her and heal her in a lot of ways. My mama had a rough life there towards the end. And God delivered my mama from that pain. And
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna look like my mama dying, but she ain't hurting no more. And
Yeah.
she's in a way more joyful place than I could ever imagine her being. And her healing was anything better than she could have ever had here on this earth.
Hmm. So I'll tell you something. So I also had a foster mother.
Oh
And
wow. Okay, we got something in common.
we do, and her name was Donna Riley, and I lived with her and her four children,
Hmm.
and they had um, Rachel, who was my foster sister, died in a
Hmm.
car wreck at 16.
Oh wow.
And so Donna, she was a hardcore atheist, and I mean
Hmm.
hard. Like we
Hmm.
would sit in the living room, and she'd sit up on her chair, and we'd sit on the floor, and she would like a guru, just giving us, all of the arguments against the Bible and arguments against the
Okay.
existence of God and how there is no empirical evidence you can ever produce. I
Hmm.
learned so much from her, believe it or not. But she was diagnosed. She passed away this past October, October the 9th.
Hmm.
And she was diagnosed with Parkinson's 13 years ago. And I remember just praying, Lord, give her a miracle. Like, take this from her. Because I mean, if you see advanced stages of Parkinson's, there's a tremendous amount of suffering.
Yeah.
And in the last 2 years of her life, she was suffering so much. And I was like, God, please just take this suffering. Take this suffering from her.
Mhm.
But 2 months before she died, 2 months, she looked at me and she said, I'm tired of fighting him. And I said, what are we talking about?
Mhm.
I'm tired of fighting him. I was like, oh. And she said, I just want to die, go to be with him and to see Rachel. And I was like, are you talking about God? She was. Okay. Now,
Okay.
so listen, 12 years of suffering. And I kept asking God to stop it, but it was the suffering that actually delivered her. And I didn't realize that. I didn't know it.
Mhm.
But right before she died, she went into this thing called VTAC. And she had a do not resuscitate because of the advanced stages of Parkinson's.
Mhm.
And the doctors called us in because she was dying. And I went to the room. I was there with my foster brother, Alan. And I grabbed her hand and I was like, Mom, I was like, I'm here with you. And she turned and she looked at me in the dead in my eyes. And she said, can you see them? Can you hear the angels? And I was like, whoa, what is going on up in here? You know, like, and all I could think about in the back of my mind, she would have told me, well, the brain does weird things when you're dying. That's
Mhm.
the stuff in the back of my head, right?
Mhm.
But then I also have my faith saying, oh, so you're going to let her see, like you're going to let her see now all those years that you kept saying it was nothing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The only reason I'm telling you this, because like when you said about your prayers and about your mama and everything, like I think God even lets us have the prayers and the time, like all that, just so we can learn who he is.
Uh-huh.
Certainly.
You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah.
Just, yeah.
No.
I never thought in my wildest dreams that Donna Riley would have accepted Jesus Christ. Ever.
Mhm.
Never. But 12
Mhm.
years of Parkinson's and suffering and me begging God to take it away was
Mhm.
the thing that actually got her.
See, and that's something me and Cameron talk about a lot is I don't believe in atheists. I
Hmm.
either think that you're angry at God or you're a nihilist.
Yeah.
Because
That's
you
it.
just there's just you can't be a true atheist. And I that was something that I realized really after my papa died, because
Hmm.
I was hardcore atheist. You know, you die, lights out, you're just done. And then my papa died, and that was the first real death that hit home to me because my papa was like my daddy in a lot of ways too. And
Hmm.
I just started thinking, I'm like, you can't be gone. Like, you know, like you just lived your whole life, you know, and then it's just poof, you're just out of here, you know, and that was a really big spiritual awakening for me in itself. And
Hmm.
just all of that. I wasn't quite in the Jesus boat yet, but
Right.
that was a big pathway that led me to get in there.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'm super excited about you two. I can't wait to read your book. Don't not do it. You make sure to do it. I'm
Okay.
writing a book. I'm writing a personal biography. It's called The Biggest Ass in the Room, and it's about the Burrows, but I'm the biggest
Okay.
ass in the room.
I
And
like
how
that
many
name.
times? So I'm working on that too. It'll be out later in the summer. And then I am definitely going to come down there. I'm definitely coming down there once a quarter, no matter what. I'm just always going to make sure that it's when you guys have food.
Yeah. Yeah. That's understandable.
It's so good. I don't know who makes that barbecue down there, man, but it was so good.
I have no idea.
No idea. Both times that I've been there, it was there, and it was so good. I don't know who made it.
We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm going to come down and hear you speak, and then if it's okay with you, I want to get the link to your video and put it in the show notes so that so you guys go see Cameron Driver the second in his early phases before he actually blasts off because it's going to happen.
Mhm.
Hopefully we pray.
You will.
Look, man, I'm excited and I'm very excited for the people that are your age or even younger that we need a voice in this in that generation for sure. And I hope that you met some of the younger people that were there, at the conference.
Yeah, we definitely
Yeah,
did.
for
We
sure.
definitely did. They do exist.
It was so
Yeah.
nice to actually meet younger people and like
Yeah,
work with
it was refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and try your best to if you can take some advice from this old man, network. Network and build relationships with those people that you've met. And anytime you can get a chance, I don't know if you guys can go to Arkansas, but if you want to go to Arkansas, I would love for you guys to come to Arkansas for the the eschatology conference out there in August.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's probably hard, but let let's talk about it. Let's see if we can get you out there. I really want you two to be out there and bring C3 with you.
Oh yeah, he's coming with us. To be real with you, we were walking on faith with Virginia, and God made a way for us.
And a check engine light on the car the whole time.
I know. I was telling Cameron, I was like, I was nervous about them tires. I was really just trusting in God with them, and we made it down and back.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Well, you know what? I have a big Chevy Tahoe that can carry 7 people, and I've only got 1 passenger going with me. So you got a free ride out there. All we got to do is just I'll get the tickets. I'll even get your tickets. We just got to get you a hotel. Let's figure that out. Okay. All right, guys. If you're on my Patreon page, you just heard me and you want to get these two out to that conference, then put it in the little notes and say that's what you want to give to them. We'll make it happen. How's that sound?
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Well,
Let's
thank
get
you,
you
Rick.
guys out there. Absolutely. Thank you guys for spending this time with me.
Yes, thank you for having us. We enjoyed it, Rick.
I want you guys to come back. You guys want to come on and do like a 2 or 3 part study with me?
That sounds
Yeah, that would be fun.
no,
You want to
definitely.
hang out with an old dude? Like an old dude with gray hair?
Hey, listen, all my friends are twice my age, just about. Sure.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's that. Funny enough, my demographic on the podcast is between 65 and 85.
Okay.
That's who I hang with too. Anyway, well, thanks you guys for being on here. And go in the show notes, guys. You can click on that little link and you can go here, Cameron, where he gave that 10-minute spiel. And if you want to go see him, go to Rogers Park Reformed Church on May the 31st, you said?
Yes, I'll be giving the sermon that day, and then that'll be the start where every Sunday at 6 p.m. we're going to do a study, Ancient Made Simple, going through the prophecies of the Old Testament and exploring the typology in the time period.
Beautiful. I love it. And something else, Jaylyn, I don't know if you can, but Facebook Live is pretty cool.
Okay.
Because especially with a lot of us preterists out there, like you can do a Facebook Live and then at least you've captured that,
Yeah.
No, for sure. That's a great idea.
Yeah. No.
Talk to the church about doing something like that.
Yes.
And you could they could set up Rogers Park Reformed Facebook. They've already got it. All I have to do is do a Facebook Live.
Yeah.
It would be awesome. And if you guys did morning, because there's nobody that does an evening service. Nobody.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. We're hopefully trying to hedge our
Quarter of the
bets.
market.
Yes,
Quarter of the
to
market.
get our friends to come.
That's sweet. Yeah, I've invited a lot of people, so hopefully we'll have a little bit of a crowd.
Yes. Man, that's fantastic. Well, thanks you guys for being on the Burrs of Brie. It means a lot to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, guys, check them out in the show notes. May 31st, Rogers Park Reformed Church, Cameron Driver II is kicking it off. I'll talk to you guys again next time on the Burrs of Bria. Peace out.